Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 23rd day of February 2026. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope your family is safe and healthy, and you are safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, doing their best every day to comfort and save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those that are helping the ones that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and all of the perverts that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game in the United Center in Chicago last night. The New York Knicks defeated the Chicago Bulls 105-99, one of the nicest wins. I know all of us want to see the Knicks win every game by 40, but what I saw last night was a team that had tired legs. And generally, you can expect a loss. A second night of a back-to-back tired legs. And Discount Double Check was on the mic with Mike Breen, and they mentioned that they got into Chicago at 3 a.m. Now, I don't know why they had to leave New York so late to get into Chicago at 3 a.m., but that's what they did. They got into Chicago at 3 a.m. Now, the Bulls were also playing a second night back-to-back, but they didn't have to go nowhere. They was right there at home in Chicago. So they were waiting for the Knicks. Now, both teams, you could see from the opening tip, both teams had tired legs. The Knicks were clearly tired legs. But the good thing is that they, again, second night in a row, they stuck to the game plan. They kept feeding Cat the basketball. And what you are now seeing is what people have forgotten that Cat could do. He hadn't been getting the ball enough and getting enough touches to show his full repertoire that he had been showing in Minnesota, but he hadn't been showing it here. And people were looking at Cat as if something was wrong with Cat instead of looking at the way the Knicks are handling him. Mike Brown was making this way too complicated, and Jalen Brunson, he's been playing hero ball since he was in high school and being successful with it. But now, at this stage where you're trying to get over the hump to be a championship team, needs to be more team-oriented. And he was again. And so now last night, Brunson had 19 shots to catch 17. But I saw the game, and fourth quarter Brunson with everybody on tired legs. Fourth quarter Brunson. And he had tired legs too, but he was there. That's why you have a Jalen Brunson, fourth quarter assassin. And so the Knicks were obviously clearly the more polished team. But Chicago legs, though, they were also tired. Not as tired as the Knicks. And they were coming. Now, the thing is, Chicago has a completely different team. And as we thought, Yabusele was going to play inspired basketball. And he did. He had 3 3-pointers. He had 11 points. He had 13 boards. He really was trying his best to beat the Knicks. And Jalen Smith also was playing a good game. They were really trying. Giddey, Buzelis, Okoro. See, what we're now seeing with Chicago is a complete rebuild. So they moved on from DeRozan. They moved on from Zach LaVine. They moved on from Vucevic. So you're going to see a complete rebuild. It starts with 21-year-old Josh Giddey, 23, I think he is, 22-year-old Buzelis. You're going to have, Pat Will, some young dudes. And then they just got Dillingham from Minnesota, who also was rough last night. But now you're starting to rebuild among these youngins, basically. So, and that's a smart thing to do. So they weren't really a cohesive unit, but they were young. They had the youthful energy, and they was trying to win the game against the Knicks. And they were and Yabusele was trying his best, putting on his best all-star form that he could, and he was trying. So, but the Knicks, again, Brunson was passing the basketball. He had 9 assists last night. Now, sometimes that's a function of, obviously he's passing the ball, but it really, he was moving the basketball. Cat was moving the basketball, and he had 11 boards. And then, and Josh Hart came to play like Josh Hart last night. So he did make some bonehead plays, but it was him again. It wasn't him the night before. Bridges was having a tough game shooting wise, tired legs, but he was still running the floor. He played 30 minutes, but typical Bridges. He'll frustrate you during the course of a game. But when you need that nail in the coffin, you got it. And that's what happened. He put the nail in the coffin from the corner. Jalen Brunson gets in the lane and kicks it out to him. I think there was less than a minute left in the game. Boom. Game. Done. That's what Bridges will do. And he becomes like that in the playoffs especially. As you saw last year, he closed out Boston. Okay? He closed out Boston. So with big defensive plays at the end, him and Mitch Rob. So that's why you got Bridges. And if somebody, I'm getting real tired of people mentioning them 5 damn picks. Forget them picks, man. We got the boy. And we got to win with him. Forget them picks. And then somebody still, see, there's this mentality. Somebody said, well, Karl Towns got to prove that he earned that contract. It don't work like that in entertainment. See, it works like that for the common stiff like you and I. We got to prove that we're worth whatever the corporation going to pay us, and they're going to get blood out of the rock. They're going to squeeze everything out of you when they paying you. I know. But in entertainment, which basketball is, it's not about what they earn. It's about what you pay. And so the market wants to pay $100 million, $300 million. Okay, play it. Well, you going to say no? So no, he's not about earning his salary. It's about playing to his potential, and getting him the basketball opens all that up. And he did last night. I mean, the boards, the moves to the basket, the 3-pointer was rolling. And it could have been rolling a minute ago, but we wasn't getting him the ball consistently. And there was a point where, like, Hoop Porter. Some of y'all was saying we're going to see Hoop Porter. I didn't believe it. I thought he played Jeremy Sohan at the 5. But he played Hoop Porter. Hoop Porter played 15 minutes. Now, Hoop Porter gives heart, and that's what we love about him. He's all heart, man. He's out there trying his best. He's a little butterfingery, but, you know, he's a boy trying his best. And there was a point in the fourth quarter, just outside of 3 minutes, when the Knicks and Bulls, they were seesawing. They was going back and forth. And Hoop Porter, I saw it. I said, man, this guy's going to cost us the game. Get him out. Put Cat in. I'm yelling at the TV. And when I yell, put Cat in, all of a sudden Cat stands up on the bench. I said, oh, yeah, here we go. And that was part of the closeout of the ball game. Putting Cat in, taking Hoop Porter up. Because that's the thing about playing the youngins. You play the youngins when you have to, but there's going to be a point of diminishing returns. Okay? See, like if Brunson is going off, or if Hart is going off, or if Anunoby is going off, if you see them going off, you're not going to get diminishing returns. Them are pros, is seasoned professionals. They will stomp on a dude from minute 1 and minute 48 if you let them. But a Hoop Porter, a Muhammad Diawara, a Kolick, a Jameson, they're not polished like that. And so because of that, they're going to cost you a few mistakes. But you live with it with the youngins until they get to be vets. So you play them when you can. That's what I like about Mike Brown in this case. He puts them in there when he can, but at the point, what he learned last night, well, he must have learned it before last night because he did it. But when you start to see diminishing returns, pull the plug. And that's what he did. And so Hoop Porter, he pulled the plug, put Cat in there. Cat went off. So Cat, the high score, 28 points. See? Cat high score, 28 points, played 32 minutes, 5 threes. Bridges had 3 threes. And then, of course, our boy Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet, you see Shamet doing business. 16 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 4 of 8 from the 3-point range. He was guarding whoever they put in front of him. And you imagine him with Deuce. It's going to be on. Now, Alvarado also. Now, him and Shamet were negative. Alvarado's -9, Shamet's -10. I don't know what was up with that, but they were both playing pretty well, bringing the energy that you want them to bring, especially in the closeout of the game. And Alvarado is going to be big for that going forward, especially in the playoffs. Sohan is still playing tentative. Now, I don't know if he's trying to defer, because Alvarado's doing that too. They're deferring to the current roster. Alvarado defers to Brunson a lot. He'll bypass other guys and go find Brunson. And Sohan is not shooting the ball at all. He's not going strong with force to the basket. And I've seen him do that when he's in San Antonio. So he's tentative right now. Hopefully that wears off. He got to realize he ain't in San Antonio. This is the New York Knicks, and you got to show out at MSG. So he got more ability than he's showing, and put it that way. But he played 11 minutes, 2 points. He scored 1 of 2. He was -10. He's looking very tentative on the floor, in my opinion. One time he did get outrun down the floor, got beat on the back door, and that can happen. So there's some things for him to pick up, put it that way. He played 11 minutes. I'd like to see Brown show some more trust in him. He didn't play Diawara at all last night. That is Mike Brown. But he played Sohan in the rotation. So he has said he's going to want to see what Sohan could do. Hopefully between him, Bryant, the big man coach, they get him going. I'm not expecting him to score 20 a game, but I wanted to see some more energy and force that I know he brings. He just hasn't brought it since he's come to New York yet. And last night he didn't either. But again, they were all playing on tired legs, so it was what it was. So it was a good dub. The Knicks are now 37-21. They're now 15-13 on the road. Remember now, they were struggling on the road early, in the season. They were rocking at home, but struggling on the road. Now, the Knicks, and what you will find with all the top teams is that they will have winning records both away and at home. And the Knicks do. They're 22-8 at home, and they're 14-13 away. And then they had the away game that they don't count, which is with the tournament, the cup, whatever. So the Knicks are doing very well right now. They're now a full game behind the second place Boston. Boston done won 2 in a row. They won 3 in a row, but they won 2 in a row on the road. And I was like, wow. I mean, Boston is playing ball. So they beat Chicago at Boston handily, right? Then on February 19th, Thursday, they beat Golden State by 11 at Golden State. And then they went down to LA and beat Luka and them and destroyed them by 22. So Boston is balling. They got Phoenix tomorrow. They're going to beat Phoenix handily because Dylan Brooks is out, broke his hand. And Phoenix is playing like crap right now. They really are. Now, on any given night, any team can beat any team. That's true. So they got a puncher's chance. But it ain't looking good. So Phoenix is in trouble. But the first real game, now, they play Phoenix, Boston does. Why am I concerned with Boston? Because we got to catch them. And they next on the list, right? So we're a game behind them. So we got to win our game, which is not going to be easy, at Cleveland tomorrow. They got Phoenix tomorrow, and they're going to win that game. They can win that game with just their bench. And then Boston has, though, a back-to-back on the road. This is where the NBA schedule gets to everybody. So they're playing Phoenix tomorrow, and then they got Denver at Denver on Wednesday. Now, that's going to be a game they could lose. See, I'm always counting. I always do this. I'm looking at our opponents, our enemies, and I'm saying, okay, where can they lose? Because we need to catch them. So Boston could lose at Denver with the Joker in them. Joker in them is balling too. So they could lose. And so I'm looking for that loss. But we got to keep winning. And look, we got a tough one tomorrow, Cleveland, man. But it ain't no joke. Now, Cleveland, we play them tomorrow at Cleveland. They just lost their last game. They lost pretty handily, if I'm not mistaken. Who they lose to? Looking at this here. They lost to Oklahoma. No, yeah. Well, they was at Oklahoma City. Who could beat them? Oklahoma City's tough, especially at home. So they lost by 18. Yeah, they lost by They lost by 8 points. They lost by 8 points, Oklahoma City. So there's no shame in that. I mean, there's no shame in that. So they play us at home tomorrow. That's going to be a tough game. Let's hope the Knicks get into Cleveland today so we can rest, so we can be ready for them tomorrow night. See? So that's what I'm hoping. So the Knicks got a tough one tomorrow. We got to take care of business. Then Boston got a little bit of softness in their schedule right here. But then they got to play Denver on Wednesday. Now, the Knicks, on their part, after we play Cleveland at Cleveland tomorrow, Let me see. Let me see what they got going. The Knicks, after they play Cleveland at Cleveland tomorrow. Let me see. They should have a home game coming up. Let me see here. The Knicks play at Milwaukee. Okay. But they play at Cleveland tomorrow, Tuesday. But they don't play their next game until Friday at Milwaukee. Now, I'm not saying Milwaukee ain't no joke either. I mean, Giannis is going to be there. I know everybody, come summertime, everybody going to start tripping, talking about Giannis to the Knicks or Giannis to the Lakers or whatever. But right now, Giannis is a Milwaukee Buck. And they got Miles Turner, Giannis, AJ Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins. They got Cam Thomas coming off their bench, no defense, all offense. Kyle Kuzma, our boy Jericho Sims, okay? So they got, they could beat us. Now we can come off, we're going to get a little recovery, but too much recovery is not good either because you start being off on your shots and you lose your timing. So the Knicks are going to have a nice break between Tuesday and Friday, okay? So, hopefully they'll be ready to play in Milwaukee. They'll certainly be rested, but hopefully they'll be ready to play come Friday. So that's what we got going on. It's what it is. We got this big game tomorrow. Big game tomorrow for the Knicks. Not a must. Well, it's kind of a must win. I hate using that term though. It's so exaggerative, But they do need to win this game in Cleveland tomorrow. And then we got Milwaukee. Then we're back at the Garden against Victor Wembanyama and them. Talk about we got Sohan, right? So Sohan gonna want to show out at the Garden against his old squad. So that's good. We'll see how that is. But that's a little bit too far down the road. But right now, we got Cleveland tomorrow. Got to handle this business. And as far as that, right now, the only person on the injury report at this point is Deuce. Yeah. Mitch Rob was out yesterday, second night of a back-to-back, so we know he wasn't playing. But he will be in Cleveland tomorrow. And we know Mitch's history with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we know Mitch's history with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. Yes, we do. So we're looking forward to that. Mitch will be back, okay, against Cleveland tomorrow. And he should be available, hopefully, doesn't get hurt, against Milwaukee on Friday. Now, I'm not going to say it. I'll say that. But anyway, yeah. So we got Cleveland tomorrow. Big game for the Knicks. Hopefully they get into Cleveland today, rest a little bit, get refreshed, get ready, get them legs strong again, and continue with the game plan. I mean, it was beautiful. Last night, I think they had 30 assists. I think they had 30 assists last night. See, that's what I'm talking about. Tired legs, and they still, let me see how many assists you got. Last night, they had tired legs. The Knicks had 27. Okay, 27 assists. Beautiful. 13 turnovers. Okay, that's what we're talking about. They was doing business last night the way points in the paint was even, 32 all, not a lot, but they shot last night, how many 3-pointers? They put up 42 3-pointers last night, hit 15 of them. They were real ice cold in the beginning, like I said, tired legs. And they only shot 67% from the free throw line. That's tired legs, y'all. That's what that is. So, listen, they got the dub. Okay, Mitch Rob coming back. Tuesday we should be ready. Shamet is balling his tail off right now. So Mobb Deep with Mitch Rob and Shamet, now Alvarado and Sohan. We got something going on. Let's get this dub on Tuesday. Good win last night though on tired legs for the Knicks. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and savor this win. Here we go into Cleveland Fieldhouse. Let's take care of this business. So.